Hey, my name is Jordan. In this video, you'll learn a single string style lead for Angelina Baker in the key of D. We're going to be in standard tuning, standard G major tuning, and you're going to spike your 5th string or capo it at the 7th fret. I'll play through the basic arrangement slowly. You'll be able to see everything that's going on with my picking and fretting hands. And then I'll go over some technique tips, some practice advice, and talk about some of the licks that you can check out in Tunefox. The single string style is a great way to accurately capture intricate melodies on the banjo. In this one, we're going to focus in on this 2nd position, which means our 1st finger is going to hang out around the 2nd fret, and we're going to be playing out of this 1st inversion D major chord shape. It's what most people know as the D shape. So we're going to be using the scale out of that position, so you're going to really get to know your notes in this area of the neck for D major. And the melody itself is pentatonic, so we'll get really familiar with pentatonic sounds and shapes. And then a lot of the licks and even some of the arrangement is going to include a little bit more of that full major scale for that different sound also. We've got some really interesting 2-finger and chromatic licks for you all to check out that will add some different flavors and different feels to this version of Angelina Baker, and I'll talk about those later in this video. All right, I'm going to play some potatoes and then go through this tune slowly. Remember, if you don't know how to play your potatoes, you can check those out in the lick section in Tunefox. Potatoes are used to kick off a song and set the tempo with which the tune will be played whenever you're the one starting a tune in a jam or a band situation. As you could hear, I was tapping my foot to help me keep time there. This may be something that you want to try. It's something that can definitely help you keep time very well. A lot of people do it instinctively, but for some people it's something that you've just got to start trying to do. And at first it may be confusing. It may actually make it seem like what you're playing is harder, because it might be one of those kind of tap your head and then rub your tummy in a circle moments. It's a tough coordination if you've never done it before. So to try it in a way that's not as overwhelming, instead of doing it with the entire tune, just try to do it with one measure. Use the focus feature in Tunefox and play at a very slow tempo. When you get to higher speeds, you might want to tap your foot half as fast as I was doing in this playthrough example. All right, this one is in the key of D major. The form is AABB, standard fiddle tune. For the scales, mostly pentatonic, especially in the A section, but there in the B, we are incorporating one extra note there from the major scale. So here's a full D major scale. It's going to go D, E on the 2nd fret, F sharp on the 4th, G, open string, A on the 2nd fret. We could play our open B, but we're going to be using our 4th fret instead for a lot of the time in this tune. Remember, 4th fret G string and open 2nd, same note, both B notes. And then the last note of the D major scale is this C sharp. It's just one we're not using a lot in this tune. It's just really not a feature of the melody. And so it kind of doesn't jive a lot of the times with what's going on. And then we can complete the scale by playing this 3rd fret 2nd string here. Again, we could have played this open, but when doing the single string, a lot of the times having more of these fretted notes and dancing around this 2nd position is going to make it a little bit easier. We're going to have more fretted notes, so the tone's going to be more cohesive, and it's going to help us avoid some string crossings, which is something that's pretty tough in the single string style. And we also have, because we have the 2nd fret and 4th fret here for the E and the F sharp, this is just a D string an octave up, so those same notes are there as well, just an octave up. So that's the full major scale. If we're doing the pentatonic, all we're going to do is leave out the G and the C sharp. So here's what the pentatonic scale is for D major. D, E, F sharp, A, B, D. Right? And then we have the 2nd fret here and 4th fret, again, same notes an octave up. So this gives us a nice little box to play out of. Right, and you can tell a lot of the notes are a note that's in the D major shape, in this first inversion shape. So anytime you see or use this first inversion shape, you're going to know that some of the neighbor notes that are available with a pentatonic scale that fits with this shape. Right, anywhere we play this shape, those pentatonic notes are going to be available for us to use in a solo, in a fill, or in some backup. Something else to note here is, even though we could just completely use the 2nd position fingerings, which would be 1st finger here and then all the other fingers at the adjacent frets, a lot of the time I am using this pinky finger, the 4th finger here, to kind of play out of this chord shape as I'm playing the lead here on Angelina Baker. All right, so we are obviously picking this single string, so let's talk about the pick hand. For the most part, we're alternating with our thumb and our index, but there's some times when we're not alternating, and there's a reason for this. We're playing our thumb on the downbeats and then our index on the upbeats, and when we stick to this pattern, it really helps us develop an effective and efficient kind of machine for playing in this style that will fit well with the rhythm. This will lead to speed, and it will lead to you always having kind of a natural feel of where you are in regards to the beat. So make sure to pay attention to those pick hand markings that are in the tablature. Something to think about is your point of attack. So where you pick will change the sound. And it's up to you to kind of experiment. You may play the A section, a little bit closer to the neck, getting a soft sound. And then you could, in the B section, go to a brighter sound and pick closer to the bridge. And that would be a very cool tonal contrast that can add a lot of interest to what you're playing without really, adding in a fancy lick or anything like that. How we play is just as important as what we play most of the time. Another little tip here, play on the tips of your picks for speed. So instead of having the picks really deep in here, that can lead to some clunkiness both in the sound and in the feeling, which will inhibit your speed. If you try to just play on the tips, it can really help you up your game when it comes to speed. But never sacrifice, your accuracy or your evenness of timing in trying to play fast. A lot of the times, if you try to play faster than you're actually able and you can't control it, you're just going to frustrate yourself. So kind of just accept what some of those limits are and practice and work within them. Over time, you'll build up your strength, you'll build up your muscle memory, and you will get faster. Another little cool thing that you could do is add in some chord rakes. Right, so all I'm doing is I'm raking my thumb over the 5th and the 4th and the 3rd string whenever it's time to play that 2nd fret melody note. And that's a really cool way to just get a lot fuller sound with the single string style. Finger preparation is something that you always need to be thinking about or looking for areas in which you can do it or in which you can do it better because it's really going to help with your speed. Measure 1's a good example where we start out with these few thumb notes. And then after that, we've kind of got that space, right? This is the spot where the rhythm is kind of syncopated, where it hits on the offbeat. And when we come back in on that offbeat, we're playing with the index finger. So we need to kind of prepare that. Instead of having it way down here, you know, and risk kind of grazing or one of these strings as we're trying to bring it in to play the 3rd string, we can kind of prepare it a little bit more. So as you can see right here, I've got it like almost right under that G string right there from note 1, right? So having it closer there will help me with my speed, my accuracy, cleanliness, smoothness, all of that. Finger preparation, it's important. And just in general, you need to do your pick resets as well. So after you pick a note, don't just leave your pick finger kind of where it was after you completed your pick stroke. Try to bring it back and prepare it for whatever note is coming next. And for your fret hand, same thing goes. Finger preparation is important. Watch me on the playthrough. You'll see that a lot of the time I'm just leaving kind of this chord shape down and preparing that ring finger when I need it. But a lot of the times I'm moving all the fingers around to get them where I need them before I need them there. For your practice strategies, Tunefox tools as always. You know, there's so many tools that you have at your disposal to really make your practice effective and efficient. So make sure to use them to your advantage. Make listening part of your practice. Listen with the Tunefox player before you play. Listen with Apple Music or Spotify, whatever you use to listen to music. Use that and make a playlist. Check out a bunch of different versions of Angelina Baker and get the ones you really like in a playlist and listen to those regularly. The more you listen to this, the more you're going to memorize the sound of the melody, the chord changes, and all of that. We need to exercise our ears. For the licks in this tune, we've got some 2-finger licks, some single string stuff, and some melodic style variations that you can add in to your version of Angelina Baker. The 2-finger licks are cool. They're going to add some drive and some momentum and almost get close to that bluegrass banjo sound. And they work seamlessly most of the time with the single string style because like single string, usually we're just using 2 fingers, thumb and index. There's a few melodic licks in here. So you can incorporate that style into your picking and see how we can play the same melody notes with a completely different picking technique. And that's just really good for your understanding of the banjo and for the, how the notes lay out on the fretboard. There's a whole lot of single string stuff here. There's some variations on the melody. There's some single string scale patterns. Some incorporate some accents and some accent patterns also. The accents are really cool. They're going to bring life and movement and groove to what you're playing. So some of them are just kind of some standard accent patterns where we're accenting on the same beat. And again, that's just going to bring some life and some feeling. Some of them accent certain notes in the melody and can make the same phrase sound completely different when we accent some different notes in the melody there. also have some arpeggio licks. An arpeggio is just where we play chord notes one at a time. So instead of playing, you would play. And when we incorporate the single string style, we can get some really fun and fancy sounding stuff. All right, for your next steps, we can try a few things. My first recommendation is that you check out the up the neck single string style arrangement for Angelina Baker. Right, so in the version that we just learned, we got really comfortable playing out of second position, right? Learn the scale and learn how it connects to this first inversion chord shape. Now in the up the neck version of Angeline Baker for the single string style, we're going to go up the neck a little bit and we're going to play out of seventh position. So that means the first finger is going to hang out around that seventh fret, and we're going to learn how the scale notes connect to that bar chord shape here. So it's going to help your understanding of fretboard layout and give you a nice new way to play Angelina Baker. And there's some great licks up there as well. As always, make sure you know your backup. If you plan on jamming, it is the most crucial thing for you to learn is learning how to play some basic backup in navigating chord changes because you're going to be doing that more than you play the lead. All right, that's all we have for this single string style version of Angelina Baker. I hope you all enjoyed it. Keep picking and stay tuned.